Hey guys, Mary from SVG Cuts here with some brand new box cards for Easter and spring. And if you aren't familiar with box cards, the cool thing about them is that they stand up and look so dimensional, and yet when you fold them flat, they go right inside their envelope. So when you give it to someone, it's a real wow factor when it pops up. So I had a lot of fun coming up with 5 all new Easter and spring designs for box cards. I hope you love them. I hope you have a great time making them. And like I always say, whatever kind of paper you want to use is going to look awesome. But of course, I always like to tell you exactly what I used in case you're curious. This time I used the Celebrate Easter paper by Echo Park, and it's really cute and colorful and pastel-y and adorable. Love it. But there's plenty of other cool papers out there also. So I've got all my pieces cut out to show you how these go together, super quick and easy peasy. So let's get started. First of all, for our cute bunny box card, I've got some of the pieces already put together here. Like I put the centers in my flowers. I've got his little paws here. And then as you can see in your PDF, I started to put it together the way that it looks. I've got insert number 1. And your machine will have cut a number into the side of this piece, which I darkened in with a marker, just so you could see it in this video for both of these. So I went ahead and glued my little sign on that I stamped on, and then we'll put his little feet into place. And on piece number 2, I went ahead and glued his nose, belly, and ears on. And depending on how your machine cuts and what kind of paper texture you have, you may or may not be able to see the little guidelines that are below the belly, below the ears, below the nose. That's kind of to help you place them exactly the way that I have it also. And then for the box card itself, I went ahead and glued this back label, which I stamped on, as well as the circle for his tail, as well as my little panels on these flaps that fold down. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up gluing some of these little pieces on before I finish up my card. So I'll put the tail, which is these 2 circles, on the front and the back there, and then I'll put some glue on the side tab and fold that around. Then I can go ahead and glue his little feet into place on insert 1, and I did rub a light gray ink pad around the edges of his feet just to make him stand out a little more and add some dimension. I also rubbed a light gray ink pad on the sides of his head, which it looks cute, but you can barely see it, so it's totally up to you if you want to do that or not. And then for his paws, I want to make mine a little more dimensional, so I've got these adhesive dots from Scotch, which I believe I got online from acherryontop.com. They're similar to Zots by ThermoWeb, which are 3D dots that I've used quite a bit. Just perfect for when you want to add some dimension behind something, which I would like to do on his little paws. You don't have to, but I think it's a nice, cute little touch. So now I can fold these tabs towards me on insert 1. Put some glue on them, and then glue them inside the box with the top of the tabs flush with the top of the box and the front of the tabs flush with the front of the box, which, if you've made any of my box cards before, you'll be pretty familiar with how that works, because they pretty much all go together the same way. So before it's completely dry, I like to fold it back and forth gently to make sure that it's going to fold flat. And then I'll do the same thing with insert 2, except these tabs are folded away from me, and I'll just carefully put that inside the box with the top of the tabs flush with the top of the box and the back of the tabs flush with the back of the box. So there's a bunch of nice right angles going on in there. It looks really cute and dimensional. And then you can decide wherever you would like to put your little flowers, go ahead and do that. Next, for our Easter egg box card, I went ahead and started to glue some of it together. And like you can see in your PDF, I show that for all the shapes and inserts, I show how I laid them out. So if you would like to look at that, you can see exactly how I did mine if you want to do it the same way. So for this insert, I glued this egg onto it, which I rubbed a turquoise ink pad around the edge of, and then I stamped right on it. Then for the body of the box card, I went ahead and glued my panel into place on this part here. It's flipped over. Then I went ahead and glued in my case, it's a turquoise framed egg shape, which I glued all my little flowers onto, and I put little bling in the center of each of them. And it's easy if you want to start by putting one at the top, one at the bottom, and then dividing the rest in half and gluing half of them around and half of them around. And I glued right here, I put glue on the other side to glue this turquoise frame egg shape onto this piece here, just by gluing it down here. Then I also glued my little diamond shape panel on top of the diamond shaped pink piece, right onto the side, on both sides. And then I glued this patterned paper frame onto the back with this egg in the center, which I stamped on. I also rubbed a pink ink pad around the edge of this white egg. So now that all my panels are in place and my decorative pieces, I'm going to put some glue on the side tab here and fold this around. Then I can go ahead and put some glue on the tabs of this insert. And then I'll put that right inside here and open up those tabs so that they're flush with the back of the box on both sides. So it fits right in there, those little cutouts line up, and it's flush with the back and the top of the box. And then before it's completely dry, it's nice to fold it back and forth both ways to make sure it's going to fold flat. Next, for the Easter Sunday box card, I've got the main part of the box card laid out here, and on the back there's a framed piece which I embossed, and then there's an interior piece which I stamped, and I glued both of them onto the back. Then I folded these flaps down and glued my panels onto them, which I also embossed. Then on the other side, there's a back panel that's also the same color, which I embossed. Then I put my ring in place, as well as this palm tree looking thing here. Then for the insert, I glued on this frame, which is, in my case, it's blue. And then inside the frame, there's another cross. And that's all that piece is made up of. Then we've got this insert, which is the green piece. And then I went ahead and glued two of my lilies in place, and I'll do the other one right now. And I took a green ink pad and I rubbed some green ink on the back side. I'll just put a dot of glue and glue that together like this. Then if you want, you can kind of bend the bottom one backwards and the top one forward. And then you can place them the same way that I did in the PDF if you would like, or however you want to put them on yours is great. So here's how I want mine to be. And then I'm going to put some glue on the side tab of this box card piece that I have. Close it up to make a box shape. And maybe fold it, make sure it's going to fold flat. And then I'm going to put some glue on this bottom part of the insert, and I'll just insert that right in the front like this. And then I'll put some glue on these tabs and carefully put that into place so that the top of the tab is flush with the top of the box and the back of the tab is flush with the back of the box. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then before it's completely dry, I'd like to fold it back and forth both ways to make sure it's going to fold flat. For our egg carton box card, I've got the box card pieces here. For this one, I went ahead and glued this panel onto the back, which is the blue, in my case it's blue text pattern paper, and then I glued this white label on, which I stamped on, and then I put 2 little brads through those holes. Then I folded this over and layered my 2 pieces on top, and you can see that they're almost flush with the top. The top one is a little skinnier than the bottom one, and then they just get glued right onto that flap. Then I did the same thing with this piece. I folded these over and glued these on the same way as this one. And this is the same, it's just a little bit longer. And I put my cute little flower over there. So next we have this insert, and you can see these all laid out in your PDF. Here's insert number 1 with the eggs glued on. You can do whatever colors you want or put your flowers where you want. I rubbed an ink pad around the edges of these to make them look more round. And then your machine will have cut a number into the side, which I darkened in with a marker for this video so it's easier to see. Then for insert number 2, I glued this panel onto the handle with a little flower, and then we're going to glue it together just like this. And then for insert number 3, kind of the same thing. And then on the back of inside the back of our card, we're going to glue these pieces. So let's start by putting our box card together, the box part of it, by putting some glue on the side tab of either one of these pieces, and then doing the same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to take my back panel, I'm going to take this panel that goes on the inside on the back, and I'm going to glue that nice and centered right inside the back of my card. Then I'll go ahead and glue my little eggs onto the back also. Then I'll finish putting together insert number 2, and I'll put some glue on this guy and center that right on the front. And then I'll glue my eggs in place. Now I'm going to glue this insert inside the front of my box. So I'll put some glue on this bottom part of it and carefully glue that inside the front. Then I'll take insert number 1 and fold these tabs towards myself with some glue on them. And carefully glue that inside so that the front of the tab's flush with the front of the box. The top of the tab is flush with the top of the box on both sides. And then, as always, before it's completely dry, just do a little fold check. Make sure it's going to fold flat. And then I'll do the same thing for insert number 2. So I'll fold those tabs towards myself, put some glue on them, and carefully place them inside. Again, so the top of the tab is flush with the top of the box, and the front of the tab is flush with the piece in front of it. Lots of nice right angles going on so that it looks dimensional, but it folds flat. Then finally, for insert 3, I'll fold the tabs away from me, put some glue on them, and carefully insert that into the back so that the tabs are flush at the top and back with the box on both sides. And as always, before it's dry, we'll make sure that it folds flat by carefully folding it back and forth. Next, for our hatching chick box card, I went ahead and started to glue some of it together. And again, your machine will have cut a number into some of these pieces, which for this video I darkened in with a marker just to make it easier to see. So we've got this piece here, and I went ahead and glued my chick's head onto his body. It's 2 little pieces. And then I glued his little nose, and I put some dots for his eyes. So depending on the texture of your paper and the way that your machine cuts, underneath the nose, if you look closely, you might be able to see some little guidelines that help you place it the same way that I placed mine. So for insert number 1, I could just go ahead and glue him back here like this, but I'm going to add some dimension. I happen to have some handy little Zots, which are dimensional glue dots. These are from Thermoweb. I use them quite a bit when I want to add some dimension to my project. So they'll just kind of make him stand out a little bit in the back. Then for insert number 2, I went ahead and glued the back panel on, which is this turquoise patterned paper, and then I glued this green stems piece on with my flowers on each one. Then for the body of the box card, I went ahead and glued my 2 side panels in place with my cute little flower over here. And then you want to bend this up and glue your little oval in place, which you can stamp or write on. And I put a little flower over here too. Then you want to bend this one up, and you can put your label in place. And you can see how that's laid out in the PDF also. Then these little flaps fold over. So you could just glue these flaps down flat with glue, but I think it's going to look cute if I put some dimensional dots back there. And again, these are called 3D Zots by Thermoweb, which I've gotten before at Michael's and craft stores. As long as the bottom part is flat, it's going to sit nicely. So I'll put some on this side also. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the side tab here and fold that over. Then I'm going to take my insert number 1 and fold the tabs towards me, put some glue on them, and put that inside the front of the box. And I'll open up those tabs with the top of each tab flush with the top of the box, and the front of the tab flush with the front of the box on both sides. Then before it's completely dry, I'll just fold it back and forth to make sure it's going to fold flat. Then I can do the same thing with insert number 2. Fold those tabs away from myself and insert that with glue on them right inside, with the top of the tab flush with the top of the box and the back of the tab flush with the back of the box on both sides. And again, just a quick little fold back and forth to make sure it's going to fold flat to go inside of its envelope. So there you have it, fun new box card designs for Easter and spring. I hope you have a great time making them, and if you do, you'll have to share a picture on our Facebook wall or put it on your blog, pin it on Pinterest, however you like to share. I always love to see, and so do the rest of our crafty friends. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.